Established in 1879, the Royal National Park is Australia's oldest national park and the second oldest national park in the world. Nearly 160 square kilometres, the park is home to some of Australia's beautiful beaches and landscapes. The initial goal of the park was to create a natural domain for rest and recreation, and laws were enforced that prevented tourists and visitors from removing or defacing any of the natural environment from the park to keep it beautiful and allow the naturally growing native species to flourish. The Royal National Park is home to many different animal species. You can spot swamp wallabies, echidna, bats, possums, sugar gliders, over 300 different bird species, and you can even see whales from some of the lookout points. In terms of plants, there are over 500 different species that bloom from July to November. Some of the beautiful flora and fauna that can be seen include wattles, orchids, warradaws, heaths, and grass trees. The Royal National Park is also home to breathtaking attractions such as the Wedding Cake Rock and the Figure 8 pools. These unique landscapes and Instagram-worthy photo opportunity spots attract locals and tourists alike. However, there are significant risks involved with exploring the outdoors and trying to capture the perfect photo.
I spent a little time planning which photo I'm going to post, and then the right time, but that's probably about it.
Yeah, a little bit of time, not excessively.
I don't worry about Instagram unless I'm in a position where I normally wouldn't be in, and I'm like, I'm going to take a picture and this is going on the gram.
Yeah, I feel like every time I'm in a cool place, like on vacation or traveling, I also want to share it. So if I don't share it, it kind of feels like I'm not there, which doesn't really make sense, but still, yeah, it's this constant pressure that you have to show people where you are and how good your life is, which is ridiculous, but yeah.
I wouldn't say it's very important because I don't use Instagram often, but if I do post something, I want it to be high quality.
I've heard of them, I've never been there though.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
I'd probably evaluate the situation beforehand, but
Check it out, check it out.
yeah, but if other people are doing it and they seem pretty safe or nothing's happened that I can see, then I'd be probably
Or
okay.
they're not acting like idiots or anything,
Yes.
Fairly, yeah.
Yeah.
From looking to the pictures, I would have guessed it's safe because it doesn't look unsafe at all.
I would just be a little concerned about, I heard that there was an accident with the high tide and somebody was killed.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, if it was safe.
Probably.
It's with like all these kind of attractions, it feels like if you don't take a picture there, it feels like you're not there. So yeah, I definitely would take a picture.
I guess if I felt safe, I would take one. I don't know, I feel like I'd be able to tell pretty well if I felt safe or not.
The Wedding Cake Rock is a popular and famous highlight across the coastal track in the Royal National Park. The pure white rock is a striking contrast against the harder sandstone of the coastal cliffs. The rock owes its white color to iron leaching. This contribution towards the rock's unique appearance also has a downside. The iron leaching makes the sandstone layers dangerously soft, and as a consequence, the Wedding Cake Rock is prone to cracking and is at a very high risk of collapse.
It is likely to collapse within the next 10 years.
A temporary fence has been set up, a more permanent one will follow.
Up to $3,300 in fines and police patrol were implemented to prevent people from jumping over the fence. However, the Instagram obsession with the rock seems to exceed common sense. Currently, there are 26.9 thousand Instagram posts with the hashtag Wedding Cake Rock that pictures people sitting on the edge of the rock. This number is still growing. In 2014, a French student died after part of the cliff underneath him collapsed. In 2017, the body of a 19-year-old girl was found at the bottom of the cliff, and in 2015, 2 boys had to be saved after one of them fell off the cliff.
A spectacular and dangerous rescue from a cliff face near Bundeena on Sydney's southern outskirts. 2 young men, 1 injured, were trapped on a ledge at the top of Wedding Cake Rock in the Royal National Park, only centimetres from a very dangerous plunge to the ocean below.
The Wedding Cake Rock is not the only Insta-famous spot of the park. 20 kilometers south of the coast track, you can find the Figure 8 Pools. The Figure 8 Pools are a natural rock formation involving a hole in the rock shaped like, you got it, the figure 8. Besides the main Figure 8 pool, there are several smaller pools scattered around the rock. The pools are deep enough to swim in. Surrounded by bushes, cliffs, and the sea, the Figure 8 Pools make the perfect location for the perfect selfie. However, the perfect selfie is once again not without risks.
He's a Nepalese student in his mid-20s. He was here enjoying the popular Figure 8 pools with a group of friends when he was suddenly swept into the water around 2 p.m. along with one of his mates.
In 2016, more than 100 visitors were left with cuts, grazes, and bruises after a powerful wave struck the swimmers off their feet. At high and mid-tide, waves crash against the rock shelf. The pool should therefore only be visited with calm weather and at low tide. To inform visitors about the risks at the pools, there is a risk forecast available on the National Parks Government website.
I think to know that has happened, yeah, you'd be a little bit more kind of, okay, is this all good? But I probably still would be okay from that.
Yeah, I wouldn't. No.
I don't care about the gram that much.
I would probably just be really careful, and in the back of my mind I'd be a little worried, but I would probably still
Do it for the experience or for the photos?
Both. Yeah.
For both.
If I would not bother, it would definitely not be worth it.
It is clear that the Royal National Park can pose a threat to its visitors if proper precautions aren't followed. However, the national park has to face threats of its own. Fires, visitors, pests, and climate change are the 4 main hazards that threaten the Royal National Park's values and biodiversity.
Major bushfire emergency in Sydney's south. A blaze roared into life around lunchtime, already consuming more than 70 hectares of the Royal National Park. Hundreds of visitors were told to take shelter on the beach as the flames closed in. They had to be ferried to safety.
Bushfires are a natural feature of most Australian landscapes, but begin to pose a serious threat in extreme dry and hot seasons or when introduced through human carelessness. Just this January, the Royal National Park experienced a blaze that burnt more than 2,000 hectares of bushland, endangering lives and forcing a temporary closure of the park. Due to the fact that southeastern Australia is among the most bushfire-prone areas in the world, there are organisations such as the New South Wales Bushfire Coordinating Committee and the local Bushfire Management Committee that work closely with the national parks to ensure good fire management programs. The park also enforces policies for visitors, which prohibit smoking, wood barbecues, and campfires in an effort to control bushfires. The Royal National Park attracts over 3 million visitors per year. The high influx of tourists causes erosion on the park's tracks and around its camping areas. Visitors pollute the park by littering and cause increased risks of bushfires. Further, illegal collection of wildlife, native plants, fallen timber, and bushrock, as well as the presence of domestic animals, all have an impact on the park's biodiversity. These threats are discouraged with the use of signage, education, and law enforcement. National Park and Wildlife Services has identified 27 different pest plants or weeds affecting the park's natural values. Animals like foxes and cats are known to prey on native animal species. Multiple plant diseases have caused a widespread dieback of park's native plants. Human-induced climate change has been identified as a key threatening process associated with the loss of habitats in national parks. Future increases in temperatures are likely going to influence bushfires' frequency and intensity. Higher rainfall in summer and autumn can lead to more flooding and erosion of low-lying areas. Rises in sea levels will have major consequences on the coastline. Visitors and national parks and wildlife services must combine their efforts to reduce greenhouse gas emissions and improve the sustainability of the Royal National Park.
To conclude, we encourage you all to go out there and enjoy all of the natural beauty that the Royal National Park has to offer. However, do so with the proper safety precautions and remember to never risk your life for a selfie. Beyond that, make the sustainability of the park a priority to ensure that future generations can enjoy its beauty as well for years to come.